Hey, what's up guys? Combat Critic here. In this video, I want to give my pick for this upcoming title fight between Aljamain Sterling and Sean O'Malley. Let's get started. If we look at the records of these two fighters, starting with the champion Aljamain Sterling, Aljo has 26 fights. He has won 23 and lost just 3. If we talk about his 23 wins, he has 3 wins via knockout, 8 wins via submission, and 11 wins via decision. He also has a win via disqualification. If we talk about his 3 losses, he's been knocked out once and he's also lost via decision twice in his MMA career. Now let's take a look at Sean O'Malley's record. He has 18 fights, so significantly lesser MMA experience than Aljamain Sterling, and he's won 16 of his 18 fights and lost just one. He also has one no contest. If we talk about his 16 wins, he has 11 wins via knockout. So most of his wins are via knockout. He has one win via submission and just 4 via decision. Pretty exciting fighter to watch. Most of his fights have ended in a finish. If we talk about his one loss, he has been knocked out just once. Now let's take a look at the physical and career statistics of these two guys. Starting with the height, it is 5 feet 7 inches for Aljamain Sterling and it is 5 feet 11 inches for Sean O'Malley. So Sean O'Malley is a big guy for the bantamweight division, and he will have a 4-inch height advantage. Weight is even at 135 pounds for both these guys. Reach is 71 inches for Aljamain Sterling and it is 72 inches for Sean O'Malley. So Sean O'Malley will have a slight 1-inch reach advantage as well. If we talk about the stance, so Aljamain Sterling is an orthodox stance fighter, whereas Sean O'Malley is a switch stance fighter. If we talk about the age, so Aljamain Sterling is the older guy, whereas Sean O'Malley is younger by about 4.5 years. I don't think age will play much of a factor in this fight. Aljamain Sterling is in his prime right now. Now let's take a look at the career statistics, starting with the striking numbers. First up, we have the strikes landed per minute. So strikes landed per minute signifies the number of significant strikes that you land on your opponent per minute. This is 4.78 for Aljamain Sterling and it is 7.43, very high for Sean O'Malley. So Sean O'Malley, it looks like he is the busier striker and he lands a lot more significant strikes on his opponents. However, keep in mind that the level of competition that Sean O'Malley has faced is not the same as the level of competition that Aljamain Sterling has faced. Sean O'Malley has two big names that he's fought. One is Peter Yan and the other is Marlon Vera. Two fights that two fights that he should have lost. We'll get to it in the next slide. Next up, we have the striking accuracy. So striking accuracy is 52% for Aljamain Sterling and it is 60% for Sean O'Malley. So again, the advantage here goes to Sean O'Malley. He is more accurate with his strikes. Next up, we have the strikes absorbed per minute. So this signifies the number of strikes that you absorb from your opponent per minute. You want this number to be as low as possible because you are getting hit lesser. This is 2.37 for Aljamain Sterling and it is 3.54 for Sean O'Malley. So here the advantage goes to Aljamain Sterling. He is getting hit lesser than Sean O'Malley. Next up, we have the striking defense, which is 58% for Aljamain Sterling and it is 62% for O'Malley. So a slight advantage goes to O'Malley here. Next up, we have the wrestling and grappling stats. Starting with the takedown average, it is 2.02 for Aljo and it is just 0.45 for O'Malley. So we know a huge advantage goes to Aljo in the wrestling department. Takedown accuracy, however, is just 24% for Aljo, and this can be an area of concern. And if we talk about the takedown accuracy of O'Malley, it is 42%, so he has the higher takedown accuracy. Takedown defense is 45% for Aljo and it is 60% for O'Malley. So again, the advantage goes to O'Malley. However, keep in mind that he has not fought a lot of high level wrestlers which are on the same level as Aljamain Sterling. Next up, we have the submission average, which is 0.8 for Aljo and it is 0.5 for O'Malley. So the advantage here clearly goes to Aljo. He is the better grappler. He is the better BJJ guy in this fight. Now let's take a look at the significant strikes by position for these two guys, starting with the champion. So 66% of all the strikes that Aljo lands are in the standing position, 15% in the clinch, and 19% on the ground. If we talk about Sean O'Malley, so 95% of all the strikes that he throws are in the standing position, just 2% in the clinch, and just 3% on the ground. So Sean O'Malley almost always likes to keep it standing. He doesn't do anything basically in the clinch or on the ground. This shows that in the clinch and in the ground and pound department, Aljo is the better striker. Now let's take a look at the significant strikes by target, starting with the champion. So 50% of all the strikes that Aljo throws are to the head, 33% to the body, and 17% to the leg. If we talk about Sean O'Malley, 71% of all the strikes he throws are to the head, 20% to the body, and just 9% to the leg. So Aljamain Sterling throws almost twice. He has 17% leg kicks. He uses a lot more leg kicks than Sean O'Malley, and I think Sean should really improve on his leg kicks. For a striker as good as he is not using leg kicks in his game. And even to the body, Aljo goes to the body more often than Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is basically head hunting in the standing position. Now let's take a look at the previous fights of these two guys, starting with the champion. So Aljamain Sterling in his last fight beat Henry Cejudo by a split decision in a 5-round fight. This fight happened in May of this year. Before that, he beat TJ Dillashaw via TKO in the second round, and this fight happened in October of last year. However, keep in mind that TJ came in this fight with a compromised shoulder. Before that, he beat Peter Yan by a split decision in April of last year in a 5-round fight, and this fight was a key milestone for Aljo's career because prior to this fight he had won the belt via robbery, where he got KO'd by an illegal knee and he took the belt from Peter Yan. This fight he was losing. I don't think this should be a win in his record, but it is what it is. If we talk about the fight before that, however, Aljamain Sterling finished Corey Sandhagen in the very first round via submission rear naked choke, and before that he beat Pedro Munoz by unanimous decision. In a 3-round fight, he beat Jimmy Rivera also by unanimous decision, and he finished Cody Stemmen by a slow stretch in the second round. So he is on a good winning streak. He is the champion. A lot of people compare him with Dominic Cruz, who's the greatest bantamweight champion of all time. Aljo is right up there, and if he wins this fight, he might be the greatest bantamweight of all time. Now let's take a look at the previous performances of Sean O'Malley. So Sean O'Malley in his last fight beat Peter Yan by a split decision. This, in my opinion, was a robbery. He should have lost this fight, but it is what it is. Before that, he had an NC against Pedro Munoz due to an accidental light poke in the second round. Before that, he beat Raulian Paiva via TKO in the very first round. He beat Chris Moutinho via TKO in the third round. He beat Thomas Almeida via knockout again in the third round. And before that, he lost to Marlon Vera via TKO, elbows, and punches. This fight is the only loss that he has, and this happened in the first round. Before that, he beat Eddie Wineland via knockout punches in the first round. So while Sean O'Malley has a lot of wins on his record, he's not fought the same level of fighters that Aljamain Sterling, the champion, has faced. The two good names on his record are Peter Yan and Marlon Vera, and arguably he lost both these fights. For these reasons, if I have to pick a winner of this fight, I think it the looking at the stats, you might believe that the fight is pretty even, but those stats are based on fights that Sean O'Malley has had against not very high level guys. For these reasons, I am picking Aljamain Sterling to win this fight. I think he should he should be able to take down Sean O'Malley and finish him. I'm picking Aljo to win this fight. Let me know what you guys think. in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video.